Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of CarnivorousGrama Speaks Women of Wisdom series. Tonight, I'm super excited to have with me Mrs. Cindy Demanche. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and read my scripture.
Mhm.
There is a scripture that I have for this particular show, and it is Proverbs 14:1, and it says, "The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands, the foolish one tears hers down." And I love that scripture. I always read it for my Women of Wisdom series because I feel like women who are have found and are living a proper human diet are building the physical house, and then also a lot of times women are the primary cooks in the family. Sometimes it's the guys too,
Yeah.
but a lot of times the women are the primary cooks, and so we're helping to build our physical house, and we're also building up our families as well with our choice of with our dietary choices. So, thank you so much for being here with me tonight, Cindy. If you want to go ahead and just introduce yourself.
Well, I am Cindy Demanche. I am 66 years old. When I was younger, I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. In the late 90s, I moved to New England, to New Hampshire, actually to Massachusetts. And then in '03, moved to New Hampshire after I met my husband. And I was obese, I would think, most of my life. Morbidly obese as a later on adult after I had my kids and everything. But in school, like in grade school, I it was probably just me, but I didn't have very many friends. I felt like I never fit in anywhere. It was like they were all too pretty or too skinny and I wasn't big through school, but I was bigger than they were. And, that went on all through school. I had very few friends. I spent a lot of time at home in my room and did a lot of reading and, just alone time. I spent too much of it.
Mhm.
I got married the first time in 1980. And if people that have heard my story know that Brian is my third husband. And, bad marriages and, it just takes a toll on you, your whole outlook on life, to the point where when my first husband left, I took a lot of pills and tried to kill myself.
Mm.
And I got to thinking, my kids are young and they need me. So quit being stupid and get your life on track. I had just messed up a job and then he left. It was like everything was just really bad. So, anyway, years later, I meet Brian, and he is just the most amazing person. And, he loved me for me, not what I looked like, not how big I was. But in 2007, I was trying to run away from a lot of family medical issues like diabetes, heart disease. I had high blood pressure from the time I was a teenager and was on medication for years and years. And I wound up having gastric bypass surgery in 2007 after all
Mm.
the testing and gas and psych evaluation and all that kind of stuff. And I went and had it done. Today, I wish I had never had it done. But a couple years later, I started with hypoglycemic episodes. If I ate anything that was the least bit carby, if I didn't offset it with enough protein, because back then it was a sad diet, it was like
Yep.
that. I would have these low blood sugars to the point where one day my son came over and he gave me, I was laying down, I didn't feel well. He gave me a kiss on my forehead. He said, "Mom, you are sweating to death." I said, "Can you go get my meter?" And I had bought a meter. My husband is diabetic, so I know signs of different things. So I had bought myself a meter to use. And sure enough, my blood sugar was at 49. And I'm like, this is crazy, you know? So, and I worked a retail store throughout my work experience. I had been restaurant managers, and the last before I retired, I was a retail manager for like 12 years. So, but at that store, we had those little Lindor chocolates. And when I would go to work and start feeling bad, I'd grab one of those and I'd feel fine because I got the sugar in me to bring it back up to normal and I was fine. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that went on for ridiculously long. You know, any cereal, and I loved cereal. And I tried. I kid you not, Robin. I searched for a low carb cereal because then I figured out there was like, you know, I started to figure out what was going on. This is way
Mm-hmm.
before keto. And I would sit there and look at all this stuff. In fact, there was one, it's called Puffins. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's supposed to be a cereal for diabetics.
Oh,
Still
wow.
carby, but it was better than the rest.
Mm-hmm.
But even if I ate that, it was like, it was just craziness. Within 2 hours after eating, I'd be at work and my blood sugars would drop. So
Interesting.
anything, it was just nuts. So, you know, I got to the point where I wasn't eating in the mornings. I would go to work and I'd feel fine. You know, I'd have my lunch and then I don't even remember what I was eating for lunch. But, you know, a Subway sub or something, but it had enough protein on it to offset the carbs from the bread because I always got the double meats. It was like
Right.
I've always loved meat. It was like, you know, that's it.
Let me
So
ask a question about this
sure.
because this is interesting. So you said that you would have low blood sugars when you ate carbs.
Because what happens is, and I researched this and
Mhm.
it was crazy. What happens is if you eat carbs, your pancreas kicks out so much insulin that it would quickly drop your blood sugar.
Okay.
And that's when you have like I found a blog of posts people that have had gastric bypass
Yep.
in the past that have gone through these same things. And some have suffered brain damage. Some have had to have their pancreas removed. I mean, there's so much to it that it was crazy that, you know, it scared the, you know what, out of me, you know, I mean, brain damage, because you can feel if you ever have low blood sugars, your head is like, it's just, you're not there. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you're not in your own body is the only way I can explain it. It's just crazy.
Wow.
So it was like, it was just, I don't know. It was probably about almost the scariest time other than the day I had the surgery.
Yeah.
But yeah. No,
Wow.
I had a complication from the surgery right off the bat. I had the surgery on a Monday, and by Tuesday night, I was losing a lot of blood, and it was
Mm.
black.
Ooh.
And the surgeon had come in. He said the next day, and he said, unfortunately, this can happen. And what that is, when you lose black blood, it's old blood in your system that needs to come out.
Okay.
I have no idea, but I know I wound up having to get 4 units of blood because I had lost so much. And, you know, my husband would be there with me, and I told him, I said, "Go home because I just wanna sleep." When you're drained of that much blood out of your system, you don't wanna stay awake, you just wanna sleep. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, by Friday, I was fine and went home. Actually, my mother-in-law picked me up and took me to the store that I ran. My husband was there watching it for me, and but I was fine. But that, yeah, I have never heard of it before then, Charlie, because it's crazy.
This is my first time hearing about it.
It's craziness. Let me
Wow.
tell you, it was the scariest thing. But now, you know, everything's great now. It's
Yeah.
like,
So how, I mean, how did you find, so you said that you started to kind of try to cut your carbohydrates.
Mhm.
You were figuring out that carbs were a problem.
Well, I knew that. Well, I didn't cut the carbs. I just amped up the protein.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
because
Yep.
I figured out if I eat this in certain times a day, didn't affect me. So at night, I'd be eating my dark chocolate. Didn't bother
Mhm.
me. I don't care how much of it I ate. Didn't affect my blood sugar at all.
Oh,
And I
wow.
questioned my doctor about it one time. I said, "Why is it I can eat this and I could eat cereal at night and didn't bother me?"
Hmm.
I said, "Why is it that different times of the day affect that your blood sugar levels?" I said, "How come I can't eat this in the morning without feeling so bad a couple hours later, but I can eat it at night?" And I think because during the day you're more active. At night you're at rest. So you're
Right.
not doing as
Don't
much.
need, you don't need to have that much energy.
Right. So I think that's was the gist of it all.
Wow.
And but it was weird. It was just really strange. But
So
yeah,
because of your
that's
do
the
you think
only
it was
thing. I
because of
didn't
your gastric bypass that your blood, your body was putting out way more insulin than you needed then,
eating the carbs
you
because you
when
got to
you
figure after gastric bypass, your stomach is about in the beginning, your stomach's about the size of a golf ball.
wow.
Once they cut off and staple up, reroute your intestines and all the crap they do. Seriously, that's what they tell you. Your stomach's about the size of a golf ball.
Mhm.
For the first week, you can't have any protein whatsoever, nothing except a shake that's whey isolate
Mhm.
and things like that. Then when I was allowed to start eating, I had to puree my food.
Wow.
I said, I'll just drink the shakes because I pureed chicken one time. I'm like, all right, it tasted all right, but I'm not doing this again.
That's so weird.
So then when I was able to eat
Mhm.
tiny little bites and little portions, or it was coming right back up.
Oh, wow.
Because if
Yeah.
you overfill, and I still will do that, if I try to eat too much at one time, and this is how many years later, 17 years later,
Wow.
it was still. Now my stomach has expanded.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
not that little size. I can get some serious food in. I can eat a 1 pound steak easy.
Really?
I can't go too much past that, but I can eat
Wow,
a
that's a
pound
good
steak
amount of food though, yeah.
if I don't eat anything else with it.
Yeah.
That's like, phew. And I typically don't eat very many vegetables only because I like them, but I feel better without them.
Okay. Right.
And occasionally, if I feel like if I really want a salad, if Brian and I go out, I'll get a salad.
Mhm.
I don't get the croutons. I get the dressing on the side, and I use maybe half of the amount of dressing that they give me, and that's it. And then I'll have a steak or burgers or whatever.
Right.
But yeah,
So,
it's just
I just wanna bring this up. So Stephanie said, "I had low blood sugar. I had gastric bypass also." It's not fun when your sugar drops.
you're
Yeah.
right. It's a horrible feeling. And I did a story on my channel about my
Mhm.
gastric bypass, and I put a link to that blog that I found so people can go in and read this for themselves.
Yeah.
It's horrifying,
Yeah.
the side effects that from that, and they don't tell you that.
Yeah.
You go when you're preparing for gastric bypass, or when I was, you go through all these support meetings,
Yep.
and you go through all this and they tell you all this information, but they don't tell you everything. They don't tell you
Right.
about possible low blood sugars. And I questioned the office after I started getting them. Oh, well, that can happen. Well, why don't you say this?
Right. It should
Why
be
don't you alert
somewhere.
people that these are possible complications from having this surgery?
Mhm.
I was never told that. I saw my husband go through low blood sugars as a type 1 diabetic. I certainly didn't want to go through that.
Right.
It was like I I don't know. I don't know where their heads were, or even if they changed. This was out in
Yeah, I don't.
Massachusetts when I lived out that way. when I was
I think they don't
contemplating.
tell people some things. Because I have this show with G Brown, who's
Mhm.
had not gastric
The
bypass, but
sleeve.
yeah, the sleeve, gastric sleeve, and two, she has some issues still from
Mhm.
having that gastric sleeve.
Yeah. I
With
watched her video this morning, her interview with Wendy, and
yeah,
her and Adrian and Wendy. That was great. But
I'll
yeah,
bet it was. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm
I'm
definitely.
not saying anything.
I
But
love
yeah, it was
Wendy. I've been watching
Wendy is
Wendy for
fantastic.
years. Wendy and
I
Harry.
have to.
I love those guys so much.
Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, they are. But
So,
yeah, it was pretty good.
I'm okay. I'm definitely gonna check that out before I go to sleep tonight. So you said that you had the gastric bypass. You were having some other kinds of you were concerned about medical issues that you wanted to try to avoid. So you want to talk a little bit more
Right.
about that? Did you have
Well,
any medical issues?
like I said, I had high blood pressure
Mm-hmm.
from the time I was a teenager. I was on medication when I remembered to take it. I remember one day going to the doctor's office, and I was probably 16, maybe 17, and I hadn't taken it, and my blood pressure was really high. And my doctor says, "What is it going to take?" He literally took me by the head, banged it up against the wall. I
What?
was sitting right by it. So it was
Oh my
like,
God.
and he was very gentle, but it was the point he
Okay.
was trying to get across. You know, you're doing
Yeah.
damage to yourself by not taking this medication and having your blood pressure linger that high. Because I had gotten it to where the bottom number was over 100
Oh my
many, many
goodness.
times. So on
Yes.
blood pressure medications for
Mm-hmm.
many, many years, there's family history of type 2 diabetes, heart disease. My dad died at the age of 56 from heart disease. My mom died just after turning 74 from what we would assume was a heart attack. It was quick, thank goodness. And I was trying to run away from all that when I
Mm-hmm.
decided to have the bypass surgery because at that
Yeah.
point I'm like, I got to do something. And I was up, I know, over 300 pounds,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
and I talked to my husband, and he's like, I love you the way you are. Don't do this for me. I said, but
Yep.
I don't love myself, and I need
Mm-hmm.
to do this for me. Stupidly, but I did it. You know, if I'd have known what was going to happen, if I'd have had a key into the future,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been great. But obviously nobody can predict that.
Right.
So,
And I think, that people are, it's such a desperate thing.
mhm,
I hear the same thing from my other friends who've had the
yeah.
stomach alterations, and that it was just like I feel hopeless. Like
Mhm.
this is my last chance, basically. This is
And
the
I
only
and
way I'm
I
gonna be able
did.
to do it.
I
Mhm.
mean, it was 2007, so I was in my late 40s,
Mm.
and I had real bad knee pain. I
Mhm.
had, that was eventually taken care of after that. I had back arthritis in my back. I was miserable, and
Yeah.
I was still working and still able to move around. But not like I can now.
Yeah.
But after the surgery, I had lost probably about 90 pounds. I never did get under 200 because
Isn't
then
that
it starts
something?
creeping
I
back
mean,
up.
I feel like that happens to so many people. I remember when my oldest daughter was in high school, one of her friends' mom had the gastric bypass.
Mhm.
And I feel like so often what I hear and see is that people don't lose as much weight as they want to lose on it.
Well,
You don't get down
the
to like your size that you want to be or the size that
right.
you should be necessarily.
And I had no idea what size that was for me because
Mhm.
the right where I'm at now, I hadn't been here in so many years. It was crazy.
Amazing.
Probably my oldest son is 43, probably 43 years.
Wow.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So The reason for that, Robin, when you go through all this, they tell you don't eat white rice, eat brown rice. Don't eat
Yep.
white potatoes, eat sweet potatoes. Don't
Mm-hmm.
eat the white breads, eat the dark breads. And so on, the multigrain pastas. I did everything. I changed everything in my house to dark breads, which was fine with me because I
Yep.
loved rye bread and wheat bread. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
the brown rice, it was all right. I hated sweet potatoes, so I just got rid of potatoes and, that kind of thing. So you're still eating the carbs. Now that we
Yep.
know what we know, you're still
Yes.
eating the carbs. So that weight's going to come back on. But then I
Exactly.
also found out I could still have dark chocolate and it didn't make me throw up.
Oh.
See, after gastric bypass, a lot of people, their system can't tolerate some of those foods.
Mm-hmm.
I have never been bothered by any food. I'm still not, unfortunately. That can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Right.
But
I
I've just
never
altered
was,
what
or
those things
yeah,
are.
I didn't think I was
Mhm.
bothered by food a lot of time, because a lot of times, like your health practitioners, I went to dermatologists a lot because I had terrible, terrible eczema, and they would say that it's not related to diet. There's like eating has nothing to do with it. Whatever you're eating has nothing to do with the fact that your skin is about to peel off. And so come to find out, after I went on carnivore diet a year ago, I do have food sensitivities. So certain foods that I've tried to incorporate, like I just went on a vacation, I tried some avocado and my tongue and my lips were itching. And I'm like, "Oh, so
Ooh,
this is something I would have never known
right.
because, I never had that problem before when I was on other diets because I was eating everything.
Well, you've eliminated all that. Now, when you try to reintroduce stuff, see, I did 31 days of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and I gave up my diet soda that 1 month because I've never given it up. I did that 1 month,
Mm.
and I'm telling you, reintroducing foods, like they say, do it slowly. I'm like, I want some chicken. I
I know,
want
I want
this. I
everything
want
at
that. I
once.
want the keto chow. I want everything. I looked
Yes.
at my husband. I said, all right, I'm going to incorporate one thing each meal because I'm not going to do it like they want you to. But nothing bothered me. It's like
Wow.
when I started
Nice.
keto, that was going to come up.
Mhm.
2020, my sister Debbie researched diets, different ways of eating for her daughter who was diagnosed with fatty liver disease.
Mhm.
And Debbie was having a little bit of knee pain, but not much. She's always been a really healthy eater. She had put on some weight, but that wasn't even, she's never been on medications. She's a few years older than me. Sorry, Deb. I know you're in the chat somewhere. But anyway, she's never been unhealthy.
Mhm.
She had a little excess weight. And so her and her daughter, she told her daughter, she said, I'll do this with you if you'll do it. So they started June of 2020.
Wow. Nice.
And within, I would say, less than a week, her knee pain was gone.
Wow.
Her daughter reversed fatty liver disease
That's
within no
awesome.
time. So then we
Incredible.
have, to get to me, we have two other sisters. So we have a four-way sister chat. Well, Debbie started putting things in about keto and sending videos to watch. And I'm like, the end of September, I looked at my husband. I said, I'm just going to do this, just if nothing else, to shut her up. Because our other two sisters were like, no way, no how, that was it. It wasn't going to happen. So I started the end of September 2020. Within 23 months, I had lost 100 pounds and I went
What? Wait a
strict
minute. How many?
keto.
23 months?
23 months.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I had I had asked for my A1C to be checked because I don't recall ever being checked. And
Mm-hmm.
I had just started keto. So it was like a week later. I asked my doctor back then, this was in New Hampshire before we moved to Kentucky. I said, I want to do an A1C check. And I told him I was doing keto, and he was fine with everything I told him. I never had an issue.
Nice.
And he's like, okay. So it came back at 5.8. Nobody had ever said, the one, Debbie Savings is not my sister. Deb Riley is my sister. Sorry.
Okay.
I just wanted to answer her question.
Yes.
So I, uh, I looked at that result and I called him. He said, I'm not concerned. You've already dropped 20 pounds, and it was a week. And I know it was water. He said, you're
Mm-hmm.
doing the right thing. Just continue.
Nice.
Within 3 months, it was down to 5.4. So I'm like, okay, A1C's in check. That's good.
That's amazing.
So then, after I had lost that weight, and like I said, that would have been, see, I started in September 2020 when when the world was upside down and everybody's complaining, oh, I'm gaining weight then. Here
Yep.
I'm just starting my journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean strict, strict. There was nothing. And I was in a household of 7 people, my son, his kids, my husband, and his girlfriend. I did all the cooking. I did the grocery shopping. They weren't keto,
Right.
none of them, but I cooked for them, whatever they wanted. But the protein was what I wanted. If there was a vegetable side dish, it was what I could eat.
Mm-hmm.
And if they wanted potatoes, rice, pasta, whatever, I cooked it. That didn't mean I had to sit there and eat it. And we had our dinners together as a family. They ate this. There's my sister.
Hey, sister.
But they ate their meal. I ate right along with them. I just didn't eat the same things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The side dish and the protein, everybody ate it.
Yep.
And that was that. Going to the grocery store, I would get their snacks and stuff. They paid me rent. That included groceries. It was like
Mm-hmm.
that was it. That didn't mean I had to sit there and eat it.
Right.
So, and I know there's a lot of people that can't do that. And I get it.
Yeah.
The triggers are too strong and all that. I've never I'm really blessed. I never had the keto flu. And like I said, I went very, very strict. I never had a problem with leaving something right in front of me and not eating it.
Me
I've
too.
never had those
Same
triggers.
thing. Yeah. I lived
It.
with my grandchildren for 5 years.
Mhm.
They lived with me, them and their mom while she was getting her degree. And I would cook for them. I was on
Mhm.
keto. I
Yep.
would cook for them, give them whatever they were going to eat. And then, I would make a lot of keto things though. Like I would make the
Right.
keto breads and I would make the, keto treats and, jellos and puddings and
Mhm.
cakes and pie. Cheesecakes were really a popular thing.
Yep.
So they got a lot of keto type foods, but I would fix food for them and I just would not eat it.
Right.
Same. Yeah.
It's like once you've got that willpower. Hello, Jay. Once you have that determination and your mindset in the right place, that's what it takes.
Mhm.
It takes it. Yes, some willpower if necessary, but getting your mindset right is the biggest benefit you'll
Yep,
ever get out of this
absolutely.
because
Totally agree.
it can be really really hard if you let it be. It's
Mhm.
like I don't know how else to explain that, but anyway, I lost 100 pounds. I haven't had to take blood pressure medicine in over a year. After about 50 years on it, no more. No more arthritic pain.
Mm.
I did have both of my knees replaced, one in 2014 and one in 2017 that got infected. And I had to
What?
have two more surgeries after that on that same knee
Wow.
within months. But that's all good. And I will tell you that if you can avoid that by eating this way, I would say do it. Do everything you can to avoid these surgeries. Is when I had my left knee replaced. Like I said, it got infected. I wound up with one staph infection and another infection growing in my leg.
Oh my gosh.
And I was on IV antibiotics for 6 weeks and then 8 months of oral antibiotics. That takes a
Wow.
toll on you.
Yes.
I was never so, I was, ugh, a long time of antibiotics. But, they were necessary to fight the infections because I could have lost
Mhm.
my leg and that,
Yeah,
that wasn't going to happen.
right.
Yeah, I had a wound vac. I had all kinds of stuff trying to get that to heal.
So I
But
want to talk a little bit about blood pressure because I
oh,
actually um, was having some issues with my blood pressure.
mhm,
I started to have these headaches, and I was like, I think my blood pressure is high. I don't know, intuitively knew that that was what it was. So I started
mhm,
to take my blood pressure at work, and yes, my blood pressure was going up. So I went to the doctor. Of course, they put me on pressure medications, and I said, I'm going to go on keto. And I will do keto, and I know that I can cure my blood pressure problem with a ketogenic diet, and I did.
mhm.
And you did the same thing. So
Yes.
keto can, I think I saw somebody out here was saying that they have blood pressure. Um, yeah, sizzle serve yum. I've always had high blood pressure, and refuses medication, but keto will address blood pressure. At least it did for me, and it
Right.
did for you too, right, Cindy?
The
So,
problem I think that stemmed from all those years that I fought it and that I had it. I had
mhm,
my CAC score done. I
mhm,
kept hearing Dr. Barry said, "Oh, everybody should know their CAC score. Everybody should know this." And so in 2022,
mhm.
I went and had it done. And everybody comes back, well, their score is 0 or their score is maybe 100 and they're freaking out. My score came back 5,552,
Uh, okay.
which put me in a 95th percentile of having a heart attack.
Oh,
Now, this was after I've lost my weight.
yeah.
And I caught up alive with Dr. Barry and Dr. Ovadia.
Mhm.
And I paid to ask a question so it would get answered because I had just gotten my results back and I was freaking out.
Yeah.
And Dr. Ovadia said, use it as your baseline, have another one done in a year.
Mhm.
Well, I've stayed keto. I've stayed, whatever.
Yep.
I went in a year and it went up
Oh,
to
wow.
over 6,000. So then I caught Dr. Ovadia on a live stream with Intentional Carnivore, Sean White.
Mhm.
And I asked a question again. And he says, um, how do you put it? He said, most times when you have a CAC as you're aging, and I'm 66 years old,
Mhm.
as you're aging, your CAC typically goes up 20%.
Okay.
Mine went up 10%. So I took that as a win. And I
Yeah.
promised I will never get another one done because it stressed me out so much. I
Yeah,
was sick. I was
right.
absolutely sick. And oh, it was horrible.
Yeah. I
So,
think this happens a lot to people with, like, cholesterol. You get your cholesterol checked after you go keto carnivore, and
mhm.
your cholesterol has shot through the roof, and now they want you to have a statin and whatever.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
a story about those statins too. Let
Okay,
me
tell your
tell you,
story.
years ago, a doctor that I had gone to that was Brian's doctor when we met put me on a statin for cholesterol way before keto. I was just really heavy and not well.
Mhm.
Well, I couldn't do this without pain.
Oh my gosh.
That's what the statins did to me. They were
Oh,
horrible.
wow.
I quit taking it and the pain went away. I could do no problem. So the
Hmm.
next time I went to my doctor, because I never told him, I just stopped taking it. The next time I went to him and I told him, I said, "Oh, by the way, I quit taking those because it was too much pain in my arms." He said, "Okay." They know what's going on. So fast forward till now, I started seeing a cardiologist because of the CAC scores. And I was getting some episodes of tachycardia where my heart rate would go up to 200 beats a minute
Mhm.
and last about a minute or two, and then it would go away. It would stop.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
my heart wouldn't stop, but the tachycardia episodes would stop. They would relax. So this cardiologist office, I told him about my dealing with statins from years ago, and they marked my chart allergic to statins. Okay. The cardiologist comes in. He sees my blood panel, which HDL is great, triglycerides are great, totals up to maybe 240. LDL is a little elevated. I don't care,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
By this time, I've been through the ringer with doctors. I've been through all the keto stuff. I've lost all my weight. I've done all this. I mean, I still have a little more I want to lose, but I've lost the majority
You
of it.
look
I've gotten
great, by the
healthy.
way. When I saw
Thank
you in
you so
person, I'm
much.
like, "You look amazing."
Thank you. You do too.
Thank you.
But I'll tell you, this doctor comes in the room. He said, "I think you need to take a statin." They had just marked my chart allergic to statins.
Wow.
All right. I said, no, I'm not going to. And I said, and I reiterated to him, like I did to his nurse, what had
Mhm.
happened. So he let it go. And then a year later, when I went back for a follow up, do you know the same daggone cardiologist comes in the room? You
Wow.
really need to take a statin. And I said, "Do you not read
What's
my
wrong with
chart?"
you?
I said, "Did you not read my chart?" Yeah. And I said, "Besides, I'm not going through that pain again." He said, "What? You can't deal with a little pain?" Well, don't you know I wanted to smack this man?
Mhm.
I'll never go back to him again. You know, I looked at my husband. I said, that should be a lawsuit in the making. Trying to get your patient to take something your chart says you're allergic to,
Right. Yeah.
you know, didn't pursue anything. I'm just not going back to this guy. But
Yeah.
that's how crazy these doctors are with these statins. It's
Mhm.
craziness.
It is.
I was, whoa, stupid. He was stupid. And
Yes.
I had my Medicare, the doctor I was going to when we moved, they quit taking my insurance. So I got a new
Mm.
doctor, which I
Mhm.
just love.
Oh,
Their
that's
APR ends and she's fantastic. And I told her about my episodes with this cardiologist, and she said, "Do you mind telling me who it was?" I said, "I don't mind at all because I'm not going back to him."
Mhm.
She says, "I've heard things about him
Oh, wow.
similar to that." I'm like, that's sad.
That is
It's really sad.
very,
So
very much so.
yeah, that was nuts. But that's all taken care of because I changed doctors.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, if you say that you don't wanna take they have to offer to you, I guess, but
Mhm.
if you of course, it's in your chart that you're allergic to it, so they should not be even offering it to you anymore. But, in most cases, they need to offer it to you because of the standard of care, but you can also decline, and that they'll put that in your chart that you declined. And so,
Yes.
it's
Oh, I kept declining, and
really would
even
not recommend it.
no, it's just crazy. And I just I was so aggravated when I walked out of there the second time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the heck? It's just
What is wrong with you? Yeah.
I'm telling you, I did a full-blown video on it. I just didn't mention his name. I
Oh
was so
man.
aggravated when I got home. I was like, "Ah."
Oh, that's hilarious. So tell us how you found Brenda's here. Hi, Brenda.
Hi,
It
Brenda.
was
How are
awesome
you?
to meet you as well.
Yes, it
So
was.
very nice to meet you there.
Yep.
And so tell us, how did you ultimately find the keto diet?
My sister.
And yeah, okay. So your sister, so you didn't have to do any research or anything. You're just in the group
Nope.
chat,
Nope. She,
chatting
like
it
I
up.
said, she kept throwing out little hints in our sister chat that we
Yeah,
have. And I told my husband, I said, I'm just going to do this.
that's good.
So I started it. And then a couple weeks later, my husband is noticing changes
Mm-hmm.
in mentality,
Yep.
and he decided he was going to start because he
Good
didn't
for
want any part of it. He's like, nah, I want to eat what I want.
Yep.
Type 1 diabetic now.
Okay.
At the time, his A1C was 7.9. It is
Okay.
now 6.4 as a type 1 diabetic.
That's amazing.
And like I was telling you backstage, he just told his whole story on my channel, and it is
Yeah.
fantastic. If anybody didn't hear it,
I'm gonna have to go and check that out for sure.
it's really great. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, and I didn't find it difficult to do when I
Mhm.
started, and it was just I was determined at that point. Like I said earlier, to shut my sister up for one thing, but also I knew I needed to do something. Because now, before gastric bypass, I was up really close, if not over 300 pounds.
Mhm.
When I started keto, I was back up to 270.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you
And
pretty
right
much
now, I'm about 165, 170. And I've
nice.
pretty much maintained it for a year. Little
Mhm.
ups and downs. That's pretty normal.
Yeah.
I'd
Yep.
still like to lose another 15, 20.
So you've been on it for almost 3 years then now?
It'll be 4 years
4
in
years, almost 4
September.
years. Yeah. Wow,
Yep.
nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah.
I uh, I haven't felt so good, and the best benefit is getting rid of the arthritis pain in my back, being able to lay down and sleep. Because of my knees, I had slept in a recliner for years,
Wow.
and when I did that, I developed bursitis in both of my sides from laying
Mm.
in a recliner, and that's gone.
Wow.
And I got my knees fixed, and I started bowling when I was 9 years old.
Yep.
Everybody that watches my channel is probably so sick of hearing me talk about bowling. But when I was in my early 40s, I had to stop because I was miserable in pain. My knees hurt so bad, my back was hurting, and I had to quit. 20 some years later, 100 pounds lighter, knees fixed, I'm bowling 3 nights a week.
Okay, what's your, range for your bowling?
My
What's your
average
scores like? Yeah, your average.
average is about 170.
Nice.
That's about where it was when I stopped.
Nice.
And it took a while to get there. I started back just this past fall, last fall, and it took this long to get back to that.
I'm
So
a
I'm
terrible bowler. My parents, my dad and my stepmom bowled all of my life. They always bowled, and so, I had bowling lessons, and I went bowling all the time. We bowled, a couple times a week, nights a week, they'd be out bowling, and, I'm just not good at it. But I did have my kids in bowling lessons when they were growing up. So
mhm,
my youngest two can bowl pretty well.
yeah.
But I mean, nothing like a 170. But my dad's a really, really good bowler.
Well, my dad bowled in 7 leagues in 6 days of the week. and I went with him a lot. I never took lessons. I just started bowling. And when I started, I used to throw a backup ball, and I'm right-handed, which meant I would turn my wrist this way to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad would say, "You can't do that. You can't do that. You need to throw it. You need to do this." And I would only take 3 steps, which is to this day, I take 3 steps on the approach.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I did fix is when I got a heavier bowling ball back in the day, I got into a 16-pound ball,
Woo!
which is
That's
what the men used to throw. They don't
yeah.
even anymore. A lot of them, even the pros, are using 15 and 14-pound balls. When I went to get it, the guy that waited on me, he's like, "Who are you buying this for?" I said, "Me." Like, just because I'm a female, you don't think I can do it? But I could not throw that back up because it was going to break my wrist if I tried. So I
Mm.
got into it, throwing it the way I was supposed to be anyway. And I have so much fun with it. I feel great, you know,
That's awesome.
getting back to something that I enjoyed for so many
Absolutely.
years and being away from it for too many years.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, thank goodness, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're able to do that. It's really great exercise and it's fun. I'm just not that good at it. That's all.
Now, I have 2 sons that were pretty much, because I bowled the whole time after they were, before they were born, while I was pregnant, after they were born. They were with me all the time. They
Yeah.
both average 220,
Mm-hmm.
230. They're good. They're
Wow, they're
they're really
good.
good.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
good bowlers.
yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. So tell us a little bit. So did you have to do any like when you went on the keto diet, did you do any like research about it or you just like whatever your sister said, you took that and went with it? Did you do
Well,
any
she sent me videos of Dr. Barry's to watch,
okay, yeah.
and
Mhm.
that's where I spend a lot of time in front of the thing, enjoying watching Dr. Barry and listening to him, but enjoying watching him.
Have you met him in person yet?
I have.
That's amazing. I can't wait to meet him in
I
person.
have. My sister and
And
I,
Michelle.
and she just talked about this. We did a live stream with Karen and Teresa from Low Carb Spin this past Friday or Monday,
Nice.
actually, 2 days ago. And
Okay.
my sister came on. She don't want to be in front of the camera, but she was on for that one. And I had her tell about it. We had we had gone to Keto Palooza, the first event I had been to ever, or we had been to in 2022.
Nice.
And she had said, "We're gonna sandwich him. So we're gonna get on either side of him." So we walked away. We got our picture taken with him. I'm on one side, Deb's on the other, and his arms are around us. And we walk away, and she says, "He rubbed my shoulder. I'm never gonna wash it again."
Like meeting a movie star.
Oh my goodness. And
Dr. Barry's amazing.
yeah, he's very tall, like Dr. Baker. You met Dr. Baker, right?
Yes.
He's just as tall as him, just not as Dr.
Mhm.
Baker is.
Yeah.
Now we went to KetoCon last year, and
Mhm.
my husband went, and our niece went. So it was my niece Jenny, Debbie, and I, and my husband. And we had our picture taken with Dr. Baker. His wingspan is around 2 on either side,
Yeah.
and he had more room. It
Yeah,
was
he's a
like,
big
he's
guy.
a beast.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He is. And I'll tell you a funny story. When we were at KetoCon last year, my husband goes up to Dr. Baker. He said, "Can I ask you a question?" Now, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of YouTubers, doctors, and more. Yours, so many, so many. And he doesn't usually watch them. He'll kind of half listen when I have him on because his computer is right next to mine,
Oh, okay.
and he'll sit there. He says, "You work out, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, he did not just ask Dr. Baker that." I looked at Dr. Baker. I said, I am so sorry. You have got to excuse him. And that's not even what he wanted to ask him
Oh
because he
my
had a
God.
legitimate question. But the way he started it out, I'm like, oh, I was so embarrassed. I just wanted to walk away. Like, I don't know this man. I don't. But he had a
Yeah.
legitimate question for him, and he did
Okay.
answer it. I'm like,
I
I
love
just
those guys. All of them are so awesome. Like
mhm.
everybody that I've met so far has been so gracious and just, they're all just awesome,
Yeah.
actually.
Well, I've met Dr. Berry. I've met Dr. Hampton, who is fantastic, and Dr. Baker. We just met Dr. Chafee and Dr. Ovadia. I got to meet him,
Yes.
which was really
Yes.
great.
That was
Um,
great.
yeah, so that's great. We've had, yeah, it's been
Hope to
great.
have them all on my channel.
I've had Dr. Hampton. And
Yep.
Dr. Chafee said he would come on. I just have to reach out. Dr. Berg said he would come on. I just have to reach
Nice.
out to him.
Yes.
I don't know if you were in the talk at Hack Your Health with Dorian Greenow from Keto Mojo.
No, I missed that one.
It was good. He talked about glucoses versus ketosis. He's
Mhm.
coming on August 2nd.
Nice.
Yeah. It was
That's
such a
awesome.
good talk. And it was like, yes. So I went out and asked him afterwards. I said, listen, I do live streams on Fridays. Would you even consider coming on? He said, yes. Just,
That is
yes.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that so much. So we got some questions. Let me just see what kind of questions we have here. All right. So Sizzle Serve Yum wants to know, how long does it take to heal from the gastric bypass surgery? It sounds like it takes
I,
a long time. Thanks
considering
for
I
talking
had
about
the,
the gastric bypass. If you're still here and we're talking about knee surgery, you can maybe give us both of those.
okay. Well, the gastric bypass surgery, if it hadn't been for that complication I had with the bleeding, I was fine even after that on Friday. They
Mm,
tell you be careful. It's like 5 little incisions in your stomach, and they do it laparoscopically.
mm-hmm.
So it's not like you're cut from one end to the other or anything. But, other than just being careful, it was, I was okay. Like I said, I went right back to work. You know,
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
I didn't do a whole lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. And then my knee surgeries, that's grueling. I'll tell you, that is grueling. The physical therapy after a knee replacement is the hardest thing ever.
Mm.
But I mean, even a physical therapist, they said knees are way harder than if you have a hip replacement.
Oh, really?
The physical therapy for your knee is like, ooh,
Wow. Yeah, my
it's rough.
mom had it. She had one of her knees replaced. She really needs to have the other one done too, but she's never like fully recovered from it. And
Oh,
I
see, I have they
it's
wear
going, but I'm
flaps.
like, I don't want to have the surgery.
Yeah. See, I'm glad I did because I was bone on bone
Yeah, I am bone on my right knee. It's like, oh
before.
gosh.
I'll tell you what happened. Before I had either one of them done, I was standing and in the yard with my husband, and I was just standing there. And at the time, the X-ray showed my left knee was worse than my right. And she wouldn't do the surgery in the beginning because I was too heavy. I needed to lose weight to be able to have the surgery, and
Hmm.
because to prevent infection, and I get all that. And I was just standing there talking to my husband, and my right knee bent backward. I was just standing there, and I screamed. It was like an instant, and then I was able to straighten it back up, but it literally
Oh
bent
my
backward.
gosh.
That was, I was like, okay, so the right one got done first, and the left one a
Man,
few
that's
years
crazy.
later. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
crazy.
I think I would have had it done after that. That's That sounds so super painful.
So definitely be careful because it can get really, really bad.
Susan Hampton had a total knee replacement in 2011 and had PT for 4 months.
I don't recall. I don't. Mine wasn't for 4 months. I don't believe. I know they start out coming to your house for the first few until you can get out, and I think it was like 2 months maybe, but it's grueling. I'm, when you're laying on your stomach on the table and they are bending your leg at
Oh,
and this one physical therapist, he kept pushing and pushing. And I've got tears running down my eyes saying, I
mhm.
can't, I can't, I can't. And they're pushing and pushing. And I'm like, dude, enough. Give it a break for a minute. Because
Yeah.
all the other physical therapists in the office, the ones that worked with him, they were more understanding. You know, they would
Mhm.
say, tell me when you can't take enough. And then they would ease off and then they would go back. He just kept, oh
Oh,
no.
man. Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna try to do what I can. I don't know, like, I don't know how much I could do to
Mm.
actually keep it so I don't have to have that surgery, but I'm gonna work on my leg strength and see if I can get the the muscles around it
Well,
working
that
better.
I had to do that before surgery. I had to go to physical therapy for strengthening
Okay.
because you definitely want to do that even having surgery because
Yeah.
you want to be able to be strong enough to go through that therapy.
Yeah, I don't want to have it. Chris is
It's
here.
tough.
Hey, Chris. Oh my
Hey, that's
gosh.
my
Thank you for
buddy.
popping in. I'm so, Chris, I have to have you on while you're here. I'm just mentioning this because I haven't had a chance to see you in the chat before. Welcome. But yes, I would love to chat with Chris. Chris is like, he's a genius.
I'm telling you,
I
I
was just
know this.
watching his ramen noodle video. If you guys have not seen that ramen noodle video, I'm like, this is crazy.
I just
Wow.
had him and his wife on the live stream
Man.
Friday.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of it, if you didn't watch it, you got to stay to the end because they both sing. And it was
Oh,
fantastic.
nice.
It was fantastic.
Awesome, Chris. Yes, I'm gonna get your information from Cindy and we'll get it hooked up. I would love
He's
to do that.
he's amazing.
Such a
Sana
genius. My God.
Sana and I had him on a while back. And after the live stream, we were backstage. He gets his guitar and he's playing for us. And I'm like, hey, this
Oh,
man is good.
that
And then,
I saw that video. I saw that, but I didn't stay till the end. So now I gotta go
well,
back
that one, the one
and
with
watch it.
Sana and I, it wasn't that. That was backstage that he decided he was going to sing for us the song that
Oh,
he wrote to
nice.
Ash.
Oh.
Well, on my live stream, that it was just me and it was Ash and Chris came on. Let me see. It was just this past Friday.
Okay.
At the end of it, she sang her new song, Indiana, on
Oh
Indiana.
my
And
gosh.
he sang the song he wrote for her right after. And I
That
mean,
is awesome.
it was like a concert
You're
at the
setting the
end of
bar
my
kind
week.
of high, Cindy.
It
Like,
was
okay, I'm
so
gonna have
great.
to expecting some singing.
It was so great. Let me tell you, Robin, you got to watch it. It was
I
great.
will. I definitely will.
They are
All right,
such good people.
I think I got a couple more questions over
Yeah, I
here.
haven't been watching the chat. Sorry. Hi,
That's
everybody.
okay. No
Jerry,
worries.
Debbie, Jerry, everybody.
So Jerry wants to know when you started keto, did you try and have small meals and how many meals a day?
When I started keto, even to this day, I usually do 2 meals a day because I'm not hungry in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Other than when I was working and trying to eat cereal back before keto, at that point, I think that's when I gave up eating in the morning. But like we get up and our typical day is our first meal is between 1 and 2.
Okay.
And then we usually eat dinner around 7ish, unless we're not hungry. My downfall is nighttime eating.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of people's case.
It is. And it's like I even got crocheting out last night to keep my hands busy. So because Wendy is doing carnivore for 2 months.
Is she
Wendy and
still doing
Harry.
it? Oh, I thought she went back to keto.
No, this is their 6th or 7th day right now for 2 months.
Nice.
And she
Okay.
said, you know how she said, who wants to come along? So I told her, I said, I am going to do my version of carnivore starting July 1st through the end of September,
Nice.
also incorporating keto chow.
Yeah, that's the
I
thing
have
that I really miss. Oh my gosh. I am like, okay, do I want to be like carnivore with keto chow? Because I have so much keto chow that I bought before when I was on keto. I have like boatloads of it and I just do not want to waste it. I'm like, okay, so for the summer, I might have to add keto chow for my to my carnivore diet.
I bet I've got you beat on how much keto chow is in your house.
I'll bet you do.
You can ask. I've done a video about my pantry. It was
Oh my
like,
gosh.
holy. We added a shelf to my pantry because I had so many big bags in big containers. And I forgot there I have 3 drawers with packets of keto chow too.
Oh, yeah,
And I
no,
have one of
you
those
got me
shoe
beat.
things on my door. One of those shoe things that have keto chow in it on my
Oh
pantry
my
door.
gosh.
I have a ton.
Wow. I love keto chow. It's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good. And like in the summertime with the ice cream,
Mhm.
it's just absolutely delicious. And I'm like, I'm sitting here with this. I got a couple big things of keto chow packets that I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of those. I'm going to have to just eat them.
That's right. You don't
So,
want to waste them.
no, I don't want to waste them.
So I have, anyway, I told Wendy, I said, because I want to get through this month, you
Yep.
know, I'm going to start. I have a meetup Saturday that I'm going to.
Nice.
So I'm July 1st through the end of September. I am going to try like heck to give up my Diet Pepsi.
Ooh, that was my Diet Coke was my
That's a long time
yeah,
for me. I gave it up for 31 days when I did beef, butter, bacon, and eggs.
yeah.
I have not given it up since. And yeah, and my Chalk Zero, because that's another thing that I love that stuff.
Me
So when
too.
I want chocolate now, that's what I go to instead of the Hershey's and all the sugary. I just go for the sweet because I have a
Yep.
serious sweet tooth.
Mm.
So I
There
am
you
going to try like the Dickens.
I'll be
I haven't
watching
even announced
how
this
it
on my
goes.
channel yet.
Ah, so you guys heard it here.
Mm.
Okay, so Low Carb Spin wants to know, did you do anything special to recover your gut microbiome after all those antibiotics?
You know, I was eating yogurt um, as often as I wanted to. I really didn't feel bad. I was just tired, but my stomach, it really didn't bother me. Like I
Mhm.
said, nothing bothers me. I've got a gut made of steel, I think. It's like, even after all those antibiotics, I just didn't. It wasn't my stomach that was messed up. I just overall didn't feel well. That was a lot and a long, long time on them.
Nice.
This is Karen. You met her at the
Yes, I
dinner.
did. Hey,
Yes,
Karen.
her
Yes,
and
I
her sister
did.
Treese.
Mhm.
Yes,
All right. In the middle of a forest, have you guys
Jerry.
seen the new rising star in the carnivore space, Dr. Abs? His specialty is plastic surgery, but he is an easy, no nonsense kind of doctor who talks common sense.
I
Dr.
have not.
Abs. I haven't heard of him yet. So I'll go and check him out, see what he's talking about. I love the common sense approach. It's what I love about Dr. Barry. He's just the
They
absolute
don't pull punches, right?
right. Yep, he is the best. Okay, so Brenda, I love my keto chow. I had chocolate peanut butter tonight. Oh my gosh. What is keto chow?
Debbie DeShong. Keto chow is a meal replacement shake, ice cream, baked used for baked goods that has 1/3 of your daily vitamins and minerals in every serving. And it is, oh my goodness, good. And
Mhm.
I'm an affiliate. to Keto
And I
Chow.
am too.
Yay.
Yay.
So,
But yes.
yes, you click on one of our links, you save 10% when you place an order. But no, it's
Mhm.
great. There's many, many flavors.
Oh,
And
good.
they also have electrolytes called salty that are okay. Electrolytes are way too salty.
I like the salty electrolytes. There's this chocolate
Choco
one,
vibes.
Coco Loco, I think it is.
Yeah, Coco Loco, and then there's
Right.
caramel vibes.
The caramel is good. They're all this really good.
Mhm.
Booyah berry, so good. I do
I
enjoy
have to
the
really
salt.
dilute them a lot, but I can drink them. I just don't on a daily basis.
They say you have
And
a stockpile.
oh, you don't
Yeah.
even know the half of it, Karen. Wait till you get here.
So keto chow, you also add your own fat. So you can
Mhm.
add butter or you can add heavy cream or you can add whatever kind of fat that you want to add to make it, more fatty. So
Right.
very, very
And
good.
all it takes is 10 grams of fat of your choice to activate the vitamins in the
Mhm.
keto chow. But the creator, Chris Bear, he did 100 days of nothing but keto chow, and he documented that on their keto chow YouTube page.
Yes.
And man, I'm telling you, I don't know if I would ever do that, but would consider doing 7 days of nothing but keto chow.
What, Chris? Come on. I've got some mocktail recipes I'm working on for salty. Oh my God. You've got to be kidding. That's going to be so good.
He's
Yes.
a
Okay. I
genius in the
can't wait for
kitchen.
that. Absolutely.
He is.
Man, that
I just
sounds amazing, Chris.
I'll tell you, I've made his mashed potatoes. Robin, if you have not made
I've
those,
made them.
they're
They're
fantastic.
so good.
Have
They
you
are
tried his
so,
pancakes?
I have not tried the pancakes yet.
You gotta.
Okay.
I
All
made
right. That's
those,
going to be
and
next week.
my husband sat there, started eating while I was still cooking mine, and all I hear is, "Now these are pancakes."
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to try them because, yeah, that's a hard thing, you try these different, recipes and you
Mhm.
try the different like, the birch benders and stuff. When I was on keto, I used to get those birch benders. Oh my gosh, the grandkids would not even touch that stuff with a 10-foot pole. They were like, "This is not good."
Well,
So, I'm looking forward to trying that.
I will attest to this because I have made them several times. They taste just like Aunt Jemima pancakes.
What? That's crazy. Wow. So Sherry on a low carb journey says I had to get my blender out and made 3 shakes, 2 coffee creamers and 2 creamies all ready now.
Very
Yo.
good.
Okay, so Brenda, thank you for that permission that you just gave me to
Yes.
drink my keto chow. I have not had it since I started carnivore in February 2023, but yeah, I might have some.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully,
yes.
hopefully carnivore didn't ruin it for you because
Hopefully not. Some things it did though, like those
I
taste buds
know
have
it's what you
changed.
said. It's
Okay, we can't wait for the mocktails, Chris. That's gonna be so good. Man.
you are great,
Okay.
Chris. That's all there is to it.
Yes, you are. I mean, I'm impressed at all. I mean, I'm like, what in the world? Where did he come? It had to be the Lord that gave it to you. Because ramen noodles, seriously? And they looked so good. And then
Yeah.
Ash is like, she she can't even take time to talk because she is tearing up the ramen noodles or
I'm gonna
whatever
tell
you
you,
made.
Ash is one lucky lady. That's all I gotta say.
Yes, she is. She is blessed. All right. So I think let's see what we got some more comments down here. Oh my, that sounds addicting. Cindy, you pronounced my last name correctly. Doesn't happen
Yay.
often. I'm on day 24. Congratulations, Debbie. She's
Very
on Debbie
nice.
on Debbie is on day 24 of carnivore. That is
Now I
amazing.
have a question for her. Did you start with keto or did you just dive right into carnivore?
All right, Debbie. So let us know what you did. So the
Yes,
mashed potatoes actually taste like mashed potatoes.
they do.
Like when you used to do the cauliflower mash, I used to do the cauliflower mash a lot. Back when I was on keto, sometimes I would like add a small potato to it to make it taste more like potato. But these egg white based mashed potatoes literally taste like mashed potatoes and with some like carnivore gravy. Oh my God, so good.
Now, see,
So, so
I'm not a gravy or a sauce person. I don't need
mm,
gravy on my stuff. I don't use syrup on my pancakes or waffles. However, with his potatoes, we had some left over. And the next day, I took them and I just made it into a patty. I didn't bread it with anything and fried it up in butter.
oh my God,
Robin, doggone, that was
that's
good.
amazing.
It
That
was
sounds
so
absolutely
good.
amazing.
It was crazy good.
Wow. That sounds amazing.
Yep.
Wow.
Now,
Now
these
see,
ladies
I didn't
talking
have any
about
left.
what, Robin?
I didn't have any left.
Oh, well, it's just me and Brian here.
Mhm.
So there was a little bit left.
Yeah, that
And
sounds really
man,
good. I'm gonna have to try that. That sounds
shoosh,
amazing.
it was
Yeah, that
good.
was one of I mean, that recipe was a game changer, really,
Yes.
for a side as far as carnivore side dishes. And I don't eat it very often because it's a lot of egg whites for me, but it's super, super good. So if you guys have not tried that recipe, you definitely want to because it's
Oh,
really
yeah. Now
good.
my husband wants me to make his grits too.
Yes,
I
I
haven't done
wanted to
that
make
yet.
the rice, but I'm like, that rice is a lot of work. The rice was a lot of work. But I'm definitely making those ramen noodles because I was like, that sounds absolutely incredible. Here's your answer right here from
I want
Debbie
bacon, eggs, steak,
Strong.
and I dove right into carnivore. Well, God bless you because
Good for
whoo,
you. Good for
that's a tough
you.
one. I would probably guess, and I don't know all the carnivores obviously, but I would most of them, I believe, started with keto. What do you think, Robin?
I think so. I think a lot of people did start with keto unless they maybe didn't know about keto before they went carnivore. But
Right? Because
yeah, so
that's a carnivore to me is not as restrictive as beef, butter, bacon, and eggs,
right.
but it's very restrictive. And yeah. Now, when we eat, like I said, I eat very little vegetables. Cajun
Mhm.
recipes coming Saturday. Dang
Mhm.
it, Chris.
Mhm. Gonna make me get back in the kitchen and start cooking something.
Telling you, it's crazy. You got to do the pancakes.
I'm gonna definitely do the pancakes. That sounds like a great Saturday morning thing to do. And then on Saturday night we can have Cajun rice.
The pork
That
chops
sounds
he made this past Saturday looked daggone good. Oh, he did
dang.
Cajun pork chops.
That sounds so and now you're gonna have Cajun rice to go with the Cajun pork chops.
That's right. There
That
you go. There's our meal, Chris.
amazing. Hey, Uncle Big Guy.
This is
Welcome.
Arden.
That sounds absolutely incredible. I love Cajun. So I didn't even know Keto Chow had Butterfinger. Did they have that?
It is chocolate peanut butter and chocolate toffee mixed together.
Okay, gotcha. So you mix it together.
Now,
Mm.
Jerry, here's one for you. I took chocolate peanut butter, chocolate toffee, and salted caramel and mixed all three of them together because chocolate peanut butter and salted caramel is like a Snickers.
Oh my god.
And then the chocolate peanut butter and chocolate toffee is like a Butterfinger.
Oh my gosh.
So I
That
called
sounds
my
so good.
concoction Snickerfinger.
That's cute. That
They're
is cute.
good. I told Chris and Miriam that in their live stream one time, a long time ago. It was funny.
That is hilarious. Okay, so Chris said carnivore dirty rice and keto jambalaya. Oh my gosh. That sounds amazing. I can make keto jambalaya for my husband. He still eats some vegetables.
I am telling you what.
Okay. So let's talk. Just how much time do you have, Cindy? Because we're
As
over an
much time
hour.
as you've got. I don't have
Okay.
anything
All right.
pressing.
Cool. So I got just a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
So what is your advice for people who are trying to start a keto or a carnivore diet? What would you give advice would you give to somebody who's just getting started?
I would say, first off, go watch Dr. Barry's Keto 101
Mhm.
series. He's got a playlist of that. And then don't put so much thought in it. You know, pay attention to nutrition labels, purge your house of garbage food, especially if it's going to bother you and nobody in the house is going to eat it. In my case, I had other people that were going to eat it, so I didn't purge my house. It was like
Mhm.
whatever. And keep it simple because this really shouldn't be a stressful thing.
Right.
When I started out, I was for lunches, I was eating cheese and salami and cheese sticks and just little things like that, hard boiled eggs. That was my lunches. That was
Mhm.
so easy. It was like, holy, I can do this. I would literally have a plate with a couple hard boiled eggs, cheese sticks, you know, stuff like that. Salami or
I
salami
like
with
to keep
cream
it
cheese on it
simple.
rolled
Yeah.
up.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. I had that. I had a turkey roll up while I was on my vacation last week. My daughter makes those all the time, but
Hmm.
I had not had it in a very, very long time, and I was like, "Oh man, that was super good." Like
Yeah.
the deli meat and turkey, that was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things.
Absolutely. Because the more thought you put into it, the more it's going to stress you out. If all you can afford is ground beef and hot dogs, so be it. Or lunch meat, hey, it's better than the alternative. Live within your means, like Dr. Barry says. Don't think that you have to go spend money on steak all the time
Right.
or the expensive cuts of meat. Because let's face it, things are tough right now.
Yes, they are.
Things are really tough. And prices keep going up and up. However, when you're on keto and you get off of your medications, you're saving that money that you used to spend on medications, or you're saving money on the junk food that you used to buy.
Mhm.
And that stuff can add up because I don't
Absolutely.
know about you, Robin, but when I was on the SAD diet and I got a bag of Doritos, that wasn't lasting the whole day. That bag was
Right.
going to be gone.
Exactly. Exactly, and that bag costs
It's
about
just the way it
5
goes.
bucks.
Yeah.
5 bucks a bag.
Right. So, I mean, the money that you save by not buying the junk food and keeping it so simple
Yep,
and
yep.
meal prepping, like Susan said, keep easy foods prepped and on hand. Hard boiled eggs, brown to ground beef. I have some in my refrigerator now.
Mhm.
It makes us bacon, purse bacon, baggy bacon,
Bacon.
whatever you want to call it. It's good stuff. And
Absolutely.
just run with it, you
I
know?
love my purse bacon. All
Mhm.
my grandkids love purse bacon too.
I saw that on your video.
They're
That
purse
was great.
bacon babies.
Mhm. Yep.
Absolutely. Okay, very good. So, let me share your channel. Let's see here. If I can get that done. Tell us a little bit about your channel, Cindy.
I do live streams every Friday night, most every Friday night, usually with Sana, who is Mrs. Perfectly Imperfect Keto.
Right.
Um,
What's
we
happening here?
have various guests on. Robin's been on.
Yes.
Um, Wendy from Loving It on Keto. Wendy and Harry have been on. Just so many. Dr. Hampton's been on. There's been so many people. Weekly, I put out what I eat for the week instead of these daily what I eat in a day videos. I just
Mhm.
take pictures of my food to give people some ideas. Yeah, I did that. That's short. That's funny. with Christmas wrap in Hobby Lobby. I'm like, what? It was the beginning of June. But yeah,
Wow.
just various things like
They're almost out.
if we go if we go anywhere. Oh no, they were just stocking the shelves. It was craziness
Oh
stuff.
my gosh, already stocking for Christmas.
The beginning of June.
Amazing.
But yeah, I just when I started my channel, I was like, my very first video, I said it's a little bit about me.
Mhm.
And I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but it's kept at my name so that I can put whatever I want up there.
Right. Yep.
I
It's
didn't want to
yours.
put
It's all
myself in a
about whatever
corner.
you want to do,
Yep.
right?
That's me. That's my sister Deb in the middle on that video.
Mhm.
And then Karen
Nice.
and Therese from Low Carb Spin. That was a fun video.
Yeah, there are another couple people that I want to get on the show.
Mhm.
Would love
That
to
one's coming up this
too.
Friday with Mike from Mike's Keterific Journey.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very awesome.
So yeah, we do anyway. We live streams every Friday. Once a week,
Mhm.
I put up a video about foods and stuff like that, and then randomly, I might throw one up. Like I've got my story in there about the gastric bypass. I have a story
Mhm.
about my knee replacements. I have the best one, I think, and not necessarily view wise, but the best one I think I've done. It was a family update video because
Mm.
there's not just Debbie and I and my husband, her daughter, and two of our other nieces were all doing keto. And they all sent me their stories. And I read those stories on the video. And
That's
I had before and
awesome.
after pictures of everybody. And it was incredible. It was like 350 some pounds lost for the family.
Amazing.
And I loved that video. That
Yeah,
was
that's awesome.
probably, yeah, that was great.
So what advice do you have for people if somebody who's going to be a brand new YouTuber? What would you tell them?
Just do it. I contemplated it for so long. I would talk to my sister. I talked to my husband. I said, I kind of want to do this because, you listen to Dr. Barry.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to hear your story.
Yes.
Tell your story. Tell your story. And I'm like,
Mhm.
and then I think what really got me is there's my sister's comment down there.
Yeah.
She, I had gone to a video of Dr. Baker's in May or probably April 22, where he was talking to someone about lymphedema.
Mhm.
Now I have lymphedema that I found out after my knee surgeries in both legs, primary and secondary. So it really piqued my interest and I commented on the video. The next thing I know, I get an email that Dr. Baker wanted to interview me.
Oh, nice.
And that's in one of my playlists on my channel.
Yep.
I hadn't started my channel then. I hadn't been in front of anybody. I had nothing. I had never been on anybody's channel like this. I was so nervous. I called my sister. I said, guess what? And I told her. She said, do it. Do it. I am
Yep.
so nervous. I mean, and I had weeks to dwell on this and think, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I was such a nervous wreck. And man, I'm telling you, and I think that's what really pushed that final button in me to get started.
Yeah.
Because, I know there's people that have been worse off, that have been through worse things and have more things going on.
Yeah.
And my sister Deb, she says, I don't have a story. She told Nurse Cindy that one time. Nurse Cindy is, I don't know if have you seen her or seen any of her videos
Yes.
or met her. She is fantastic. We got to meet her at Keto Palooza. Her story is now she had a sister Deb who got her started on keto. My sister Deb got
Wow.
me started on keto. Deb and Cindy.
That
Rachel from Two Crazy Ketos told Cindy about my Debbie and I. And she said, I got to meet him.
mhm.
And since then, we have been in touch as much as we can because she's very busy. But we exchanged phone numbers. We made
Right.
her an honorary sister. She is
That's
just
awesome.
fantastic woman. And, she's just amazing. But she got up on stage. She had to do a talk that day. She gets up on stage and she starts in about her story about her sister Deb. And she said, wait a minute. She said, I met two sisters, Deb and Cindy, and she had us stand up, and we were right up in front by the stage.
Oh.
And everybody was just bawling. It was like
Oh.
it was so touching and heart-wrenching. And
Yeah.
she is up there crying. And it was like, oh, stop, just stop.
Right. Don't
But
make
she's
me
amazing.
cry.
But yeah, she's
That
amazing.
is awesome. That is
But
awesome.
Debbie told her, I don't have a story. She said, if I ever hear you say that again, I'm going to slap you.
Mhm.
Well, in my video with Deb and Karen and Therese, she tells her story. Finally.
Oh,
Finally. So y'all need to watch that if you haven't.
y'all need
Because
to
it's
watch
good.
that,
It's
and I need to
good.
watch it too.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that is
what got me
awesome.
started. So if anybody wants to start one, just do it.
It's so funny because basically, I remember, I mean, last year this time, so there's been a lot of keto's been around a lot longer, so there's more YouTube and influencers in the keto space, but in carnivore, there was hardly anybody doing it last year.
Now there's
And
mostly carnivore, it seems like.
I know. I mean, I get so much content coming through my channel, through
Mhm.
my feed that it's like hard for me to watch everybody. I try to watch as much as I can, but I still work a regular 9 to 5, 9 to 9 job.
Yeah.
So,
It's
so
hard. I mean, I'm retired and it's hard to keep up
it's
with
hard,
everybody.
and you wanna
It
support
is.
everybody's channels and stuff, but it becomes very difficult, so, to
Yeah.
support everybody's channels, but, man, I love what you guys are doing, I love the live streams with you and Sana, and, definitely enjoyed meeting and chatting with you guys, and definitely meeting you at Keto at Hack Your Health was
It
amazing, I
was great.
appreciate you so
It was
much, it
great to
was
meet you.
so much
I've
fun.
got to tell you, I've just went over 3,000 watch hours today.
Congrats.
Thank you, Karen and Therese and Debbie and everybody else that has watched my stuff. I've got like 726 subscribers. And it's just been maybe a little over a year, maybe a year and a half. So
If
yeah.
anybody on here is not subscribed to Cindy's channel, you got to go and check her channel out and subscribe to her channel.
The
Let's get
same
her.
way with
We need to get
Robin's,
her up over
people
a
that are here
thousand.
from my channel. You got to
Got to.
subscribe to
There's a lot. Yeah,
Robin's.
half of the people. I think half of the people here are from your channel, but half are mine.
Oh, I
So
can
you guys.
see the difference here.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah.
yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to her channel and let's try to get her. Yeah, she needs to get up over 1,000. That would be
And then
awesome.
work on those 4,000 watch hours. Well, I got 3 of
Yes,
it. I was
yes,
so
yes,
psyched
yes.
to get that. I gotta do a giveaway, a keto chow giveaway.
Oh,
Yes,
that would be nice.
I got to. That's what I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that would
do.
be nice. That's a great idea. I don't
I
think I've
gotta
done
do
a
I
giveaway on
have
my
to
channel
do a
yet.
video.
You got to do
Yes,
a video.
gotta do a video.
So, like, how much time do you spend working on your channel, working on your videos?
As little as possible. No,
Yeah,
most of, like I said, weekly I put up one of my food. Once in a while, I might appear in the video, but usually
yeah.
it's me talking and
Okay.
showing this is what our first meal is, this is what our dinner
Mhm.
is, da 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 da.
Yep.
And if I'm making something different, then I might, I don't go on there and cook typically. and I've done some meal prep videos. I've done some grocery hauls, things like that. They're rare. There's one that I've been wanting to do, and I just have to get up the to do it. And it's about not insecurities,
Mm. Mhm.
because everybody's had them.
Yeah.
Everybody has them or had them, and it's going to be a tough one. A lot.
Yeah.
Some of it is like what I started out with about not having many friends, and it was my fault. Evidently, my bad marriages must have been my fault, and
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
how I take everything in. So, yeah.
Hey, Scott. Scott is here. I totally understand how difficult that video will be to do,
Mhm.
but it's going to help so many people.
I
So
know.
I
I know
think,
I need to do it. I just have to
yeah.
get that up to do it,
Yep.
because
Absolutely.
it's
It's
tough.
going to be a good one.
Tissues will be nearby
Yes.
for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Because, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, Cindy. So, do you have anything else? Any last thoughts and or any messages that you want to give before we go?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you, Robin, for having me on,
Yeah.
and everyone that's in the chat, both on my channel and Robin's. I really appreciate you spending this time with us. But if you're gonna, the biggest thing I would say is, if you want to improve, if you need to improve your health, or you want to improve your health, just give up the junk, give up the sugar, give up the other garbage, because it's just going to make you sick in the long run. We have so many neighbors that, we've tried talking to them. Our next door neighbors are so sick, it's pitiful,
Mm.
and things that they could overcome. And, she's like, I don't like meat. I don't like this. I don't like that. I only like this. Her husband, I'll just say this real quick. We had gone out to eat with them one night, and he told Brian and I, he said, I'm gonna do keto. I'm gonna do it. And he says, yeah, I've been doing this for a while. Now, when somebody is losing weight, what's the first thing you notice about them? The first thing you notice is their face.
Mhm.
Their face slims down. First thing. There's
Right.
nothing going on with this man. This is a while ago. We went to eat. We went to Texas Roadhouse. Brian and I ordered a steak and probably some broccoli and maybe a side salad. He's sitting there. He orders a salad. He orders a steak and a baked potato. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
so now here's the best part. I couldn't keep my mouth shut either, because I don't know how to do that sometimes when I should be.
Right. I hear you.
The rolls at the table, he pushes over to his wife, because she's not going to do this. She'll eat them, like whatever. He gets his salad, and there's croutons on it. He's picking the little pieces of crouton off his salad to give to his wife,
Oh,
but he's ordered a baked potato.
no,
I
yeah.
looked at him. I said, "What are you doing?" he says, "He says, oh, she'll eat these." And I'm like, "It doesn't make any difference. You ordered a daggone baked potato." I said it would have been better to keep the croutons on the salad, get rid of the potato.
Yeah, for
He says
sure.
every little bit helps.
Yeah, those
I
potatoes
had
are a
to,
killer.
I lost it. I couldn't just sit there and not say something, because it was just
Right.
so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I think people don't know, they really don't know what they should be eating, which is why
Mhm.
it's great that we're doing this and that everybody out there who is talking about what are you eating, because people don't know what to eat. Like,
Mhm.
you think I'm just ordering a potato, that's good. That's really good. I'm just gonna have a baked potato instead of fries or something
Yeah.
like that.
Well, it's not fried, it's baked, but it's still
Right.
potatoes.
It's still a potato. Exactly.
And it's like
Yep.
we had talked to him many times how we eat, what we eat. We even went over to dinner one time and he cooked dinner for us. He had steaks, he had asparagus. It was all good. I'm like, okay. So it's not like he didn't know because we had talked religiously about it. And, sad to say, there's another couple that was in the neighborhood that we had gotten to be friends with since we moved here. And they've sadly both passed away of
Mm-mm.
cancer, but
Mm.
they were both diabetic, type 2 diabetic, and didn't know anything about the cancers then. We had gone to their house. Thank you, Scott. We had gone to their house and talked to them, and we started talking keto. And when they said they were type 2 diabetic, I said, you can get rid of that. And they're over on the table. There's a bowl of M&Ms,
Yeah.
but we like those. I'm like, I like them too,
Yep.
but I like to feel good more,
Right.
and
And
it's
people
like,
don't know how bad they feel until they
yeah,
try something that makes them feel really good.
it,
So,
it's,
yep. Well, here we
I'm
go.
not, change is difficult, especially when the opposition spends billions of dollars telling you to eat the crapola and take the medicines. You're so, so right. It's so
Absolutely.
crazy. And I'm going to tell you, like I said before, and I don't think Scott was here then. When I was going to the cardiologist and all that, I don't have one little problem standing up to my doctors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who it is. When I changed doctors, and I told you I love them dearly. I had messed up my arm bowling when I first went back to bowling. And she tried to get me to, she said, "You might not be able to bowl." I said, "Oh, I'm going to bowl." I said, "I'll put patches on. I'll take some leave. I'm going to bowl because I'm not going to." And do you know what happened? She finally had me go to an ortho. And when I got there, I had no more pain by the time I got into an ortho. And I
Mm-hmm.
told him about it. He said, "Because you kept doing what you were doing, you worked
Right.
it out. So it's not."
Or Angel.
Yeah. I didn't have Voltaren. I've had that in the past. But no, but he said, "You did the right thing by continuing what you were doing."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "You worked that pain right out. Whereas if you stay stagnant, that muscle is going to atrophy and you're not going to be able to use it."
Right. Yep.
It's just,
Absolutely.
so yeah, keep moving. That's the
Keep
biggest thing.
moving.
Keep moving.
I'm adding that to the list of things
Yes, keep
for
moving.
doing. Keep moving. All right. Well, Cindy, this has been absolutely awesome. I appreciate you so very, very much. I do want to mention to everybody that's in the chat that if you want to be a guest on Carnivorous Grandma Speaks, you can email me. So this is my email address. It's robin with a y.heron@hotmail.com. And I would love to have you on and hear your story, get a chance to talk to you and meet you. And we can do the same thing that we just did with Cindy.
Yeah. And if
So
you want to come on mine, my email is in my description of every one of my videos.
yes, yes. So I think mine is there somewhere too, but
Yep.
there you have it. So come on our channels and we would love to talk with you guys.
Yes.
And I think we are going to go ahead and wrap it up right here. So thank you guys so much for being here with us tonight. Thanks again,
Yes.
Cindy. And
Thank you,
hopefully we'll be
Robin.
talking again soon. All
Thank
right.
you. Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.